What's up, guys? Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today. We got some more bolt action for you. We're going to continue in our little series that we're working on here of like reviewing the campaign books for the game. This is an older one that's been out for a little while now, but still a good one. So we're going to take a look at Market Garden, as you can see here. So this is just a neat little book. It's not on the super thick side like some of the more recent ones, so it's still decent amount of content, but a little on the slimmer side. But then again, it's a smaller sort of not quite theater, but smaller little, part of the war on the Western Front here. So as we can see, we get our typical information here, a couple years old on the book. And again, we get a rundown of everything that's in here. And we'll have a separate series of videos where we cover like all the scenarios and units and stuff like that. Just way too much to put that in one single review for you. But so we get some American Airborne, British Polish Airborne, the British 30th Corps, resistance fighters, German forces, of course, move on, and then a whole bunch of scenarios, right? So if nothing else, what these campaign books do a great job of is providing you with many more scenarios to play than just the ones you get in the book. So if all you ever play is that stuff from the book, you're eventually going to get sick of them. Not that they're bad missions, but there's only so many times you can play the same thing over and over again. So all these campaign books do just such a wonderful job of introducing new missions. And even if you don't necessarily collect the forces involved in like these particular theaters or parts of the war or whatever, it's still worth considering, just because you could at least take those scenarios, tweak them a little bit for what you and your opponents do have on hand, and then just have a fun game there. But at least you're constantly getting to play new things. So anyway, this thing brings us 26 more scenarios, even I guess playing solo. And then some of the actual special characters involved, or characters of renown, however we want to word that, legends as they have it here. And then basically we jump into the book, guys. So we're just going to kind of flip through and talk as we kind of do in our normal series here, and then we'll have some thoughts throughout. So Warlord's always good at sort of explaining sort of the context of the campaign here, what was going on, sort of the timeline, who's involved, what, when, and where, and all that. So some solid maps as well. Would be nice to see maybe some just larger things here and there as well. But again, it's just very focused on specifically Market Garden. But just would be nice to see, I guess, like a larger picture of the Western Front, and then how that leads into this and what happened there. But we get a little bit of that here. Like I said, it's just could be a little bit more. Maybe it'd be nice if some of these campaign books would come with like full color posters or something like that. That'd be probably be something worthwhile. So again, we get to see sort of the Allied progress here, and sort of just the back and forth on the Western Front. And then sort of the forces involved, and then we start getting into new units, of course. So we got American Airborne, lots of goodies here. So like our Airborne armored Jeep, for one, is cool. Gliders and stuff like that, and there's definitely some cool models available in like MDF. I think they're most of them. So lots of neat little things there. And yeah, the Brits really get spoiled here for some goodies. Bicycles, all kinds of neat things. So we're just gonna, again, page through a little bit here, looking at these different sections. Glider Regiment, really good stuff here. And again, really neat as well. Just not just new missions, but again, new ways of using your existing army lists, guys. So yeah, we just continue on here, basically. Lots of goodies here. So resistance fighters as well. It's a whole little sub faction. So yeah, we get on the British side there, line of communications. Resistance fighters is a cool idea there, even to play some smaller like skirmish type games with the skirmish rules that have come out recently. Second line units is a really neat idea as well. So again, you could almost really just jump in and really embrace playing some of these lesser used things here, or things that weren't necessarily in the limelight. But again, nice to see new units and new lists for everybody. Keeps things fresh, gives you a chance to play new things, and that's always great. So we get through all of that, and then we get into the scenarios. And again, they're always great because there's special rules and other things that we get for each of these scenarios. New map deployments, which is always a great chance to maybe invest in some new terrain, try some new things out here. So a lot of this is going to obviously involve like taking and holding bridges and stuff like that. A lot of forest work, glider deployments, all kinds of neat things there. So, and again, just scenario after scenario after scenario. So, like I said, if you're even just buying this for playing the scenarios, there, like I said, I think it's like 26 or 28 scenarios in this book. So that's like, that many games right there. So that will last you for quite some time, assuming you're not playing like a game or two a day. So this is definitely a couple months, I'd say, out of gaming at least, especially if you work in like a campaign or anything there. But just lots of neat things here. Again, if you want to play Arnhem, very famous there, Osterbeek. And again, just some good stuff overall on different things you can possibly do here with these scenarios. So, Hell's Highway. Yeah, and this is actually kind of cool too here. So some ideas for like smaller space-saving scenarios, stuff like that, some more skirmish type things. And again, you can take ideas from here and then apply them to some of your other campaigns, right? It doesn't always have to be giant battles or using exactly like the scenario the way it's written. So again, being able to modify and tweak things to your specific needs is always great. So, there's so many different ways you can modify missions to try different things, whether it's again larger or smaller games, even down to just even like squad or two. I think with like the the firefight skirmish rules that they came out with. So again, there's some combinations of things that you could be doing there too, and even like solo play as they say here. So there's some rules for that, especially now with 2020 and COVID. Learning how to set up some solo games if you have multiple armies could be really cool too. Fun little project there. Being able to approach missions from both sides. So really you're getting, in a certain sense, double the missions because you have to think about how to approach both sides there and try and win as well. So, and then we get into some of the named characters here. So we got Hauptsturmführer, Grebner, Major Sepp Kraft, Hauptsturmführer Karl-Heinz Euling, and then U.S. we got Major Cook, Dick Winters, of course, Band of Brothers. So you know what that's about. If you haven't seen that series yet, and you're playing this game, I'm not sure why you haven't seen that yet. So stop everything you're doing, go watch Band of Brothers, and come back. We'll wait for you. Lieutenant James Migelas. Poland even has a special character here, General Sosabowski. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. That seems like an easier one to pronounce. Great Britain, we get Robert Kane, Colonel John Frost. Pretty cool there. Sergeant Baskyfield's 6-pounder. So hell, even a special character 6-pounder gun. Major Allison Digby Tatum Warder. That's a hell of a name. Dude carrying an umbrella. That's bonkers. General Robert Roy Urquhart. Looks pretty cool too. So yeah, and especially if you like paratroopers and like the Red Devils and all that, especially for the Brits, this is the book for you. And then we end up with some biography or bibliography and some credits there. So again, doing some more reading and so on and so forth to help you give you some more inspiration. So in contrast to some of the other campaign books, it would have been nice to see more like a campaign system to fight some of these things back and forth. But again, that's where taking stuff from some of the existing campaign books and then just sort of porting it into the missions here and kind of coming up with a framework for making that work would be a way to go. So I'm not really going to ding the book too much for that, but nonetheless, it does a great job of giving you a whole ton of new scenarios to play, even if some of them are probably going to be a little bit similar just based on the theater and what was going on for this. But hey, that's you know what you're getting when you're signing up for getting this book, basically. But again, decent amount of new stuff for the factions involved, some new army lists to try out, even some special characters, so some really cool stuff there on the hobby modeling side. Again, a great excuse to build up some interesting like wood terrain, smaller villages, checkpoints and roads, and like ammo, fuel, supply caches, that kind of stuff as well. Some bridges as well. And then, it's still late war Western Front, but not quite, into 1945. So there's still more new things to come down the road, but it still gives you some interesting things with playing with some of the lighter troops on the Allied side, certainly, and then, the German the German forces in the area as well. So again, just overall solid book. If they ever do a revamp of this, obviously there's some things that they could add to it. Again, I think it'd be cool to see all the campaign books come with like full color poster maps, or even have those available separately. I think that'd be a neat touch. But yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys. Have you picked up Market Garden here? Have you guys played a lot of the scenarios? What are your thoughts? Again, we're going to have a whole series of other videos covering all the scenarios, new stuff, and all that fun stuff. So lots and lots of content coming for this, and as we work on some of our own forces for that as well. So drop us some comments. Let us know. Give us a like if you could, and a subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Thanks so much for stopping in. Hope you have a good one. We'll see you next time.